Hi, everyone. Happy Thursday. Welcome to What the Insurance. Today, we are on episode 10. Wow, 10 episodes. I'm super excited. Today, we are going to talk about networks. Not the most exciting insurance subject, but it is one of the things that can really help you save money when you understand what they are, what they mean, and how they impact you. So let's go ahead and get started. Networks. Okay. Network, basically, when it comes to insurance, is a group of providers that have agreed to come together, contract with the health insurance under this particular network. And based on their affiliation with that network, they have agreed to a certain discounted rate to charge for benefits. What that means is when you go to the doctor or you have a hospital stay, and you show them your insurance card based off of the network of providers that are associated to that insurance, there's a certain discount that is automatically applied to your bill. Before your deductible, before your copay, before your coinsurance, there's an automatic discount applied to your bill based on the insurance company and the relationship the providers have with that network. So the group of providers, hence the name network, that come together, they agree to charge a discounted rate for services. So when you're under a certain network, you have access to those discounted rates just by way of being on that network on that particular plan. Okay. It also caps out your out-of-pocket expenses. So if you notice, if you look at your benefit explanations, whether it's your summary of benefits and coverage or a benefit guide or a benefit summary that you get from HR, you'll see that if you go out of the network, your costs are more expensive than if you go in network. The coinsurance is higher, the deductible is higher, the out-of-pocket maximum is higher. So it's capped at a lower discounted amount when you go in the network. So when you utilize the providers that are connected to your network, you're going to save money and you're going to spend less out of pocket. You spend more if you go out of the network. So, types of networks. There are several different types of networks. I'm going to cover 4 today. 2 of the 4 are the most popular, and the other 2 are ones you may have heard of or may even be a part of on your benefits. So first, we'll start off with an EPO. EPO stands for Exclusive Provider Organization. Very similar to an HMO, there's only in-network benefits with an EPO. It's considered a managed care plan. There's no out-of-network benefit. That means if you go out of the network for the EPO, you cannot get benefits. You will not have coverage. You will be responsible for paying 100% of your services if you go out of the network for EPO. If you go in the network, there's a discount. It's called a managed care plan. If you go out of the network for emergency services, just like with an HMO, that would be covered at the discounted rate. But if you go out of the network for anything else that's not an emergency, then it's not covered. You're responsible 100%. That's an EPO, Exclusive Provider Organization. HMO is a health maintenance organization. That is very similar to an EPO, only in network benefits unless it's an emergency. You cannot go out of the network with an HMO plan. HMO plans also require a referral if you need to see a specialist. So you have to have a primary care doctor selected. Most, if not all, HMO plans require you to have a primary care doctor selected that's in the network. They are part of a medical group that's in the network, okay? And they are responsible for referring you to specialists if you need to see one. That's how they help you save money as well as the insurance company save money. That's how they keep those rates low because they are working with contracted providers in the network. The medical group is in the network. The specialist that they refer you to is in the network. The other thing with an HMO is they usually require you to stay within a particular service area. So, for example, if you're on an HMO plan in Illinois, that means you won't usually have benefits outside of Illinois. You have to remain inside of Illinois, unlike with the PPO plan where you can go outside of the state. And the HMO plan usually requires you to stay within a particular service area or region. PPO. PPO stands for Preferred Provider Organization. Preferred Provider Organization. On a PPO plan, you are not required to stay in the network. You are not even required to get a referral to see a specialist. You can go out of the network, but remember, like I said in the beginning, you will have a more discounted rate by going in network. You pay more money out of pocket when you go out of the network. Okay, so PPO is a preferred provider organization. Now, the last one is POS, and that stands for point of service. Same thing with the PPO. You can go in or out of the network with point of service. You don't have to remain in the network, but it does still require a referral. So POS is kind of a hybrid between HMO and PPO, where it requires a referral to see a specialist, but you don't have to remain necessarily within the network, but the discount is better in the network. So I do want to mention that it probably... when we talked about HMO earlier, we talked about PPO earlier episodes, we talked about HSA. These all sound familiar. And that's because the name of the plan is usually synonymous with the type of network it has. So an HMO plan has an HMO network. PPO plan has a PPO network. So yes, an HMO plan is a plan that has copays and benefits like that. PPO plan is a plan with copays, deductibles, coinsurance like that. Okay, but PPO is also a type of network. A type of network of doctors that have come together to provide you with a discounted rate that allow you to go out of the network. But if you go in network, you have a greater discount. Same thing with the HMO. HMO is a plan, but it is also a network of providers that have come together that require you to have a referral, require you to go in the network. So the names are usually synonymous because it is a type of plan, but it is also a type of network. You did not hear me mention HSA. HSA is not a network. HSA, Health Savings Account, is a spending account. Okay, we talked about that in a previous episode. But again, you often hear that term used synonymous with an HSA plan. What really it means is it's an HSA account that is tied to a high deductible health plan. Okay, a high deductible health plan is on a PPO network, right? So, kind of confusing, I know. A lot of times when you hear people talk about these things, they use these terms interchangeably and they are not intended to be interchangeable. So I am trying to help everyone understand and break it down so you get it. They're not meant to be interchangeable. Okay, HMO is a plan. It's also a network. PPO is a plan. It's also a network. HSA is a savings account. Okay, high deductible health plan, HDHP, is paired with the savings account. That is a plan that is on the PPO network. All right. So networks. Okay. Now, the other thing I want to cover is network provider search. I mentioned going in network gives you the greatest bang for your buck. You get the best discounts going in network. How do you know if a doctor is in your network? Great question. You want to make sure you ask your human resources when they give you your benefit summary, what is the network for this plan? Help them or make them help you. Make them show you where you can find the network. And when you go on your insurance when you go on your insurance carrier's website, okay, you can pick provider search by network. You want to make sure you choose the proper network. So you may have a PPO network, you may have an HMO network, but you want to make sure you choose the proper network when you're searching for a doctor on your insurance carrier's website. That's going to help you determine whether or not the doctor you are seeing is in the network. So you want to make sure you ask HR, what is the network for my plan? Go to your insurance carrier's website, check it, and see if your doctor's in the network. The other thing you can do, you can call the number on the back of your ID card, your medical ID card, or dental or vision. You can call the number and they can tell you if a provider is in the network. The other thing you can do is ask the provider themselves. Listen, don't be afraid to ask your doctor, are they in the network? Now, here's the trick. I mentioned last week when we talked about preventive care that the trick question when you go to the doctor is what brings you in today, right? There's always a trick question. I call it a trick question because it's funny. It's really just them doing their job. But here's another trick question. When you call in and ask, most people will ask, do you cover my insurance, or do you take my insurance, or are you covered by my insurance, right? That is not the right question to ask. And here's the reason why. Most doctors and hospitals will take whatever you have, right? But that doesn't mean they're in the network. They may take it, but they could be potentially out of the network. So what do you ask when you call? I'm calling to see, are you in network for whatever your plan is? Maybe it's Blue Cross Blue Shield, maybe it's United Healthcare, maybe it's Aetna, and whatever that particular network is. All those carriers I just mentioned, and that's not an all-inclusive list, just an example. All those carriers I just mentioned, they're insurance carriers. They have different plans and they have different networks within those plans. So find out what your plan is and find out what your network is. and then call the doctor's office and say, are you in network for whatever your insurance network is? Okay. If you ask them, hey, do you take it? They may tell you they take it, but they may be out of network. And that's when it becomes a trick question. So it's okay to ask that question. All right. I want to make sure I cover that. So some of the things to remember here. Some plans have broader networks. That means there's more doctors available to you. Some plans have narrower networks, which means there's less doctors available, but they cost less. Because on the broader network, you're paying for the freedom to be able to go to more doctors. So narrower networks may cost less, but you want to be careful to make sure your doctor, if you currently have a doctor and you're switching from a broad network to a narrow network, you want to verify that doctor is in the narrower network. And some plans have HMO or EPO networks where you can only go in network. And that's an even more narrow network. So you want to make sure you're checking. Okay. Again, with the PPO, you can go out of the network, but it's going to cost you more. So just some key takeaways. It's okay to ask questions. Ask, what is your network? Ask the doctor, are they in network for your benefits? Okay. Yes, you can call the company, the insurance company, the number on the back of your ID card, member services, customer services. They are there to answer your questions as well. Check it 3 ways. Ask HR, ask your insurance company, ask your doctor. Verify, make sure you don't get a different answer from all 3 of them, and visit the website. That's the 4th way. Just always make sure everybody's saying the same thing, because sometimes the website's not updated and they may say one thing or another, but when you call, they say something different. So make sure you check in as many places as you can. You're going to get the best bang for your buck. I'm going to check my notes, make sure I don't miss anything. Okay, that is it. So thank you guys for joining me today. I hope this discussion of networks was not confusing, but helpful. If you have any questions, you know how to reach me. Feel free to comment below, send me a direct message. I will respond. Text me if you got my number. I am available, but also check me out on YouTube. Link is in the description below. You can catch all my archive videos on YouTube. Share it with your aunties, share it with your family, your friends. Also, follow me on Instagram at _the_insurance. I'm on there too. I post even more stuff on Instagram. So check me out. Follow me on Instagram. Next week, we are going to talk about dental insurance. We're leaving the medical world, guys. We are going into dental insurance. So you don't want to miss it. I don't just do medical. I'm doing all life and health. So you may want to join in next week if you have questions on dental insurance. We are exiting medical and going into dental. So have a good rest of the week. Thank you for joining.